My entire goal as a philosopher, the reason why I strive to get my degree, the reason why I've been working so hard, is to pay attention to the small things. I think that for a long time, these things have been ignored and they've cultivated into such a massive problem that it keeps going. Racism, it's not a big deal, it's not a big problem, it's okay, it's just a joke, has just rolled out into this debt that we can start paying off. But if we don't, we will foreclose. All it is just being real with oneself. It's saying, is it really just a joke? Are you honestly taking it as a joke? Not put yourself in that person's shoes. Just asking yourself, are you truly, fully believing that this was all to just like tap someone on the shoulder, like a form of amusement? Or did you actually intend some sort of harm? It's not, oh, could you see how it could cause some harm? Ask yourself, are you intending harm? And if you really honestly ask yourself that question and come to a conclusion, many of you will find that that answer would be clear that it was to hurt somebody. It was uh, trying to go out of your way to cause more harm on that day, to relieve yourself of this stress or pressure. It felt like an easy scapegoat, or it was just like, oh, this person wouldn't care about it. But you find that it's just like stealing a dollar. You say that dollar doesn't mean anything to anyone, but you never really think about if that person comes home, he doesn't have the correct change. His mom or his father might take it out on him, might really need that money, might see that as my child is failing, my child is a liar, my child is a thief because you stole that dollar or you tricked them out of a dollar. So you don't know how much a dollar really costs. You don't know how much it really is because you're not in that person's shoes or place, and that assumption that everything's going to be all right because that's how it would happen with you is the fault. You were unable to really truly think anything outside of this stagnant, stale presence, and that's why you suffer because you're not able to look at something fairly easy, to look at someone else's life and say, they might live a different life. A clear example. You aren't able to comprehend that. So how are you going to be able to comprehend that with yourself? How are you able to perceive yourself as I keep doing the same things? What can I do that is different? What can I do that's really different, but not so drastic to kill me? It doesn't really click. People do it naturally. Everyone does it naturally, but it doesn't click. They want to do something different, but has a similar type of vibe or tone. And that is why the progression of racist can branch out into activist or politician or police officer. It can literally fundamentally devolve into positions and jobs. And you say, "Oh, that's a huge jump," but is it? Is it a huge jump? See, a person that doesn't really think about black people or just any person of color, they see somebody of what they define as high honor. They get into that position. They work hard in that position while not really working on their race relations or any sort of interactions with different cultures. They become renowned for helping that certain community, which is majority made up of whatever the race. And then eventually they come across someone who is not of that race versus someone who is in their community that they do have a bias towards. And they say, well, I know this guy, I don't know this guy. Let me give this guy a nudge. Even though Um, you could say that shouldn't have happened at all. He should have remained unbiased, but his that one decision had made an injustice. It seemed small. It seemed harmless to him. The person he liked or had community with, you know, uh, they might have learned their lesson. They might have, hey, I needed that. But you've exiled another. That person saw that and said, that wasn't fair. That wasn't right. I don't trust this community. And they said, why would I want to be in a community with someone who wouldn't give me justice? I had to be a part of the community and already have stake in the community and basically kissed your feet to be able to get in that community because I wasn't there before. Because I tried. I was wronged. I tried. And now I got injustice. So now I'm going to go elsewhere. I'm going to take all the other good people that I know elsewhere and say, good, fine, I got good people here. But you have to remember, the good person that you were in community with had wronged that good person. How good are those people? How good are those people? Everyone falls short sometimes. But why did they fall short before someone else? What caused them to fall short? No, don't worry about it. And then when that person had fallen short, you didn't see to set them up right. You didn't see to hey, let me make sure that justice prevails and then set them straight. No, you let them off. So you fell short. And this causes a domino. People falling short. You say, oh, it's not that bad. I think that's the worst thing that could ever be done. You say it's a small thing. And that's what people with low character, ethics, morality do. They make everything seem like it's small, no big deal, it's nothing. Well, I guess you're right. It's nothing to you because you're not a man of honor. And I don't need to explain or to express, to plead with men lacking honor on why their behavior is unethical. See, a man of honor would think about that, would hear the words and be moved, be touched. They would think. But those that want to be stagnant, want to stay in that position, want to be stale, they will only listen to the words that they want to hear. And let them be hypnotized by their own words. The problem with politics and policy has always been that you're trying to convince a man. Instead, the road to hell is paved with good intentions while trying to force them to change. You should let go. Let them be there. Let them. They imprison themselves. Why free them? To do what? Oh, it's wrong to imprison them? No. The fear that people have is that they too will fall to the sense and lulls of their own voice, the lullaby of their own voice, and stay in that position. But what is forgotten is that if you're aware that that can happen, you do not have to face that. Now, there's three paths to go. You can fall to the voice to the lullaby of your own voice. You can decide, hey, I see that someone has lulled to their own voice. Let me not do the same. Let me figure out a way on how not to do that. Or the third, you can say, oh, because I'm aware that someone got lulled to their own voice, I don't have to do any work because I've already done it. I can't do it. Since I'm aware that it can happen, I'm not as dumb as them. And that's when you get lulled. That's where it really hits. You think the reason why I think that there's three is because the first might not be aware at all. And because they're not aware at all, I think it provides them an out. Like those are the ones that truly may decide one day to change because like, hey, they might have never actually thought, and they might just be building on that. But those that are adamant that they know, that's who falls. So I say, either way, most of this is not to um, discourage people from doing anything. It is do something, but once it's no longer effective, once you've given it a good solid try and it has proven not to be that effective, or the consequences are too harsh to maintain, try something else. Let it go. But I can't. Their family, see, in their lives, it's always then something personal. It's something that the person wants to take. I can't do this. This is my father. I can't do this. This is my girlfriend. I can't do this. They remind me of my child, and that becomes the selfishness and greed. Why can't I have this for myself? And it's like, okay, but you understand that when the consequences come, do not put yourself in the line to go to heaven with other good men. Know that what you're doing is damning everybody. And you want to say you can have it all, you have it both. In order to live in this world, I think to be a good man or a good person, one must have faith. And what that means is that you have to have faith in yourself and your ability, the faith in others that have taught you, and the skills and that mindset to make you grow even further. How that works, I will say, a little complex, but also enjoyable. It takes time. It might be 80 years until you see the fruits of your labors. Like vegetables, they grow slow. It takes time to cultivate this skill. But to sit there and try to amplify things by trying to super steroid the plants and say I can give you 3 times, 8 times the pound of vegetables and chicken and beef and pork in half the time. And I'll say, okay, you give those that want that what they ask. I know that what I have is done good. I've seen your methods, or maybe I haven't seen your methods, but I don't know your methods, so I have to do mine. Why can't both exist? And if yours is the superior and better, then through time I will be forced to change when that time comes. But if your methods are so advanced, so pure, so well, why do I need underhanded tactics? That seems more complex, more convoluted. The truth is you're afraid because you're right to be afraid. People and companies that always have to stifle and harm smaller businesses, they're afraid. They realize that these things are trends and fads that become boring after a while. People are just like tired, like, oh man, I kind of wish, I had the old way. Yeah, it was a little complex and it took more time, but guess what? I actually kind of enjoyed that. I enjoyed walking around stores or just like having a late night place or not having everything in one place and all of them being sort of cheap and non-functional. I liked having a place where you can buy timber, buy pipes, buy these things, and you can build them yourself. And someone would help you. And you don't have to try to figure out the complexities of, is this person trying to scam me? Is this person going to try to rob me? Is this person trying to get $1 in this world? I am not looking for a time in the past. I'm looking for a time in the present. I'm looking for a time that can exist. I have faith because it is with me. I know these things So I am able to implement them. I know why these bad things happen, and therefore I am aware and prepared for good things to proceed. Don't get lulled by those that want to be stuck in nostalgia, that speak of a time that was so great and so grand. And then when you ask about the problems, how did they solve this? They stare at you, or they get angry, they get annoyed. Emotion is a very telling thing, even when you are not aware of why you had that emotion. When you say, when I listen to people talk about the 90s, oh, the 90s, the 90s, the 90s, I'm like, okay, yeah, I was around kind of in that I wasn't, I was like 2, but I'm like, okay, was it that great because of like just the access to things, or was it, did you still have the same political freedoms? You guys didn't have the same conveniences. Like, I like the fact that I can use my smartphone and carry around my credit cards, so I don't have to carry around cash or die over sneakers, or I can go and look up recipes, or if there's information, I have all of the information, the tools in my pocket at one time at a convenient place. I like how I don't have to completely be a professional to do things now. I can have a map in my pocket that takes me the direction. I don't have to get lost. Now, do I want to have those tools remove the journey? No, they could be tools, again, assistance. If I don't need something, then I won't bring it, only what I need. But this has been a very fruitful tool so I can enjoy things further. If I'm allergic to things, or if I really don't feel like putting up with something that day, all it takes is a quick Google search and the information is there. What has been done is that has been tampered with. It's not the what is wrong with having access to the information. It's getting access to the wrong information. That's why AI, that is why technology has always been bad. Because if someone utilizes a tool for mischievous deeds, doing that for intentional harm, for profit, for greed, for lust, everyone's going to see that and fear it. And that's the problem. Now, this is the example that I like to use for the conservative mindset, the same way talking about with firearms. It is not the firearm that is inherently dangerous. It is the wielder. If you put a firearm on the table, the likeliness of it going off is very minimal, unless you have like a really low quality. But regardless, that's not really the dangerous part. It's who has access to it. And who I'm afraid of is not a criminal. Because guess what? A criminal is aware that they're committing crime. And they're aware of what crime they're committing. So when they commit a crime, they are trying not to commit more crimes that will bring more attention and get them likely to get caught. Because police don't typically care about like a robbery where you lost maybe 300, 400 bucks. That's not the top of their priority list. I'm not saying that they're really great at, catching, murderers, but regardless, that would put them higher on the list. So they are not, if the criminal's not dumb, they'll just do the one crime. They'll be like, give me the money. They're not going to shoot you. Just give them the money. Go on about your day. But I am worried about the wannabe superhero, the person that is, hey, I gotta save everyone. This is my time to shine, and thinks that oh, okay, I'm just gonna shoot in this parking lot. Like, what if that hits a gas tank? No, 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 I'm gonna save everyone. I'm gonna stop this shooter. And if the bullet goes through things like bullets do, I'm going, it'll just stop then, and no one has to worry about any of the extra shots that I shot off. No one has to worry about that 5-year-old, that got hit by mine. We'll just blame it on him. it's his fault. There are so many people that want to be a hero that they don't think about like the actual consequences of their actions. There is no hero. They're just people. You want to be a hero, there is no hero. If you want to say that there are heroes, heroes are like a title of just a person who exemplifies um, themselves. Honorable men, people that have thought about the situation to a high extent and understood uh, and put themselves in a vulnerable position, but they knew that it would mitigate harm. Heroes are those that can walk away and not expecting praise. You're willing to do the things necessary to make sure human life is possible. That pain and harm is again mitigated. But you're not thinking like a hero. You think that you're going to walk out around like it's a western, like it's a movie, and that's what's been plaguing people. The idea isn't really there because it's not as exciting when you kind of boil it down. When you realize that having a long quality life means that you're going to live kind of slower paced. You want a fast pace and long life. And you want to look good while doing it, and you want all the good food. You want it all. And it just doesn't work that way. Like you can have this entire world. Do you have the time? In fact, when I ask myself, what is it truly that I aspire to get? What is the house? What is the life that I'm looking for? I'm a man. And I'll say that sometimes like I have a girlfriend. I could note that other women are attractive. And I could see like, hey, you know, if I wasn't dating her, if I wasn't dating my girlfriend, if I wasn't committed to her, I'm like, what would I have done? Like, oh, okay, if you didn't date your girlfriend, would you evaporate from this universe? Would you not exist? I recognize that it's like, heck, even when we're dating, what happens if, let's say, not just like, okay, casually leaving, but let's say that something happened to us, that we could not date each other anymore, that we could not be in a relationship anymore. What am I supposed to do? And I realize that it's like that's not a question that I like to ask, but I do recognize that it exists. And I see that there's other potential people. It's not saying that I'm happy about that, it's reality. And when you recognize these things and say, like, that's a tough question, but I will think about it. And I don't have an answer, but that is something to think about. Not extensively. Now, if someone's putting way too much thought, like, I say, don't be in a relationship with them. But just recognizing reality, it makes it a little bit longer, a little bit more comprehensible. You realize that relationships can come and go. Okay, that's short term. But when you're finally done with the short term and you say you want long term, how do you get long term? Maybe you do want short term. Maybe you how do you figure out to know? What are you striving for? Who are you listening to? A lot of red pill content tries to give you the answers. A lot of things just try to say that these are set answers. And I'm not really that much different. I'm saying that there are, but they're set by you. And I can't tell you who you are and when you became yourself. I was just as much of a 16-year-old that wanted to go to the gym, that wanted that sleeper build, that sleeper body. And, you know, like now I work out and I'm happy. I realized I was never going to be as happy as I was when I first got that pump. But I said, I don't want to be. Yeah, maybe I took a little, but then I came back up. I said, I always just wanted to feel good about myself. and I met that goal, and I'm happy. Did I get the girl that I wanted to? No, but I found the person that I'm supposed to be with the rest of my life. I found my partner. I found someone that makes me feel alive, that inspires me to do these things, even though I'm not currently not making any money off of it. Someone that sees me for me. I feel comfortable when we can just be downstairs and just laugh. Or just not say anything, but enjoy each other's presence. She's in the other room. She's right behind me watching Handmaid's Tale right now. And I feel great. I feel comfortable. I don't need her to be on me 24/7. I don't need her to yeah, we don't need the drama. And it sounds a lot more boring. But the truth is, it's not. It's peaceful. And when we were like, okay, let's do something, let's release some energy, let's rest, and then let's take on a challenge. We should be able to take on a challenge without it being the life threatening, the worst task and test every time. Life is hard enough. But these fake tests, these practice tests, it's kind of what life feels like. It's like it has its own natural test. But what people have done is, if you know those prep schools like test prep, SAT prep, ACT prep, all those things. They make mock tests, and they say this is the test of the real test. And the test that they're giving might be completely different, or not even what the test is official. It might help you, but it also might hurt you. You have so much running in your head, and you're tired and drained, and you just kind of want to sleep. And you're just like, no, that's the test, that's the test, that's the test. And maybe it'll help you on the actual test, sure, on that test. But maybe you should have failed that test. Maybe that's not for you. Like they want you to say, no, I'll train you for this specific task. But what if you weren't meant to do that? Like, I have I'd like to toot my own horn. I have a good foundation, physical effort, mentality. I would be a good boxer. I love boxing. I watched Ippo, I watched Kenichi, I watched anime, I was working out. I built my own personal gym. I have boxing gloves, I have heavy bags, I have speed bags, I have the material. I've been to boxing gyms. I've been going maybe 6 years now. Did MMA too. I'm not a boxer. Not in that way. The truth is, I looked at the ring and I said, I don't have that in me. You know? I don't want to have that in me. I don't want to be that guy. Yeah, it takes it all, and I said that I'm not willing to give it. I love the sport. I love training. I love practicing. When it comes to sparring, I love having that competition with other guys. It feels invigorating, but not invigorating enough to risk my body, my mind, to put all of that on the line. I got shot, and yeah, it helps me heal, but I don't want to risk my body. I don't want to risk that. I have too much to experience CTE, just one bad day, a headache. I'm fine with going slower. I'm fine with saying, hey, this is going to be a hobby. This is going to be a hobby. This isn't a job. I saw it. I saw the potential. I saw it right there, and I said, I want to go to these gyms. I want to fight. And I learned things from great boxing coaches, but I just know it's not me. And that was the toughest thing, because saying no, no, I like I could do it. I'm choosing not to do it. To walk away from something. And no one's going to know. No one's going to applaud or cheer, because no one knows what could happen. I don't even know what could happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking that risk. I could be world champion, or I could be in a wheelchair. I've seen gymnasts. I've seen what's it called, athletes lose everything. They one day they're top of their league, and then the next day they're crippled, and people are like, oh my god, oh, and then they change the channel. And heck, even with me, after I got shot, there was the O's, there was the boo-hoos, there was this like conversation, and then everyone just kind of went away. They moved on. They're not gonna care about me. They weren't gonna miss me even if I made it to the top. Maybe you would have some dedicated fans, but like, why would I want someone infatuated with my life like that? Like, oh man, like if you were that infatuated, you should have been infatuated with me before I did this. But you weren't. You saw me at a place at a time, but not who I was before that. Before I made it, the struggles that made the person get there. I need you to love all of me. And the truth is, you're not. You're not. You're only going to remember a part. You're only going to hold that part. And maybe I'm tired of that part. Maybe I'm not angry. Maybe I'm not bitter. But maybe I don't want that part to be shown to me anymore. Like, I'm done. I'm done with that part. I'm happy where it's at. I'm okay letting it collect dust. I don't want to bring it up anymore. And you are a reminder of that. You keep trying to shine it up and clean it up. And I said, let it get dusty. Let me clean that when I want to. Let me do that. So many people think that that's the life. If you want to live that life, go live that life. But don't use me as a catalyst. It's all right. Yeah, I walked away. Yeah, there wasn't $1 million contract. It didn't sound like oh, someone put $1 billion contract on my desk and said, choose this or choose your health, or it wasn't that. I said, even before I got there, I said, I'm probably not. That's okay. I was older than most of the guys boxing, to be honest with you. I did. I realized that the age that I would have to be to go pro was way past me. But I could live longer than some of the people that go pro. And that's just me realizing, yeah, that's a reality. I might not be able to box in the ring and get a championship belt, but I might be able to teach my son or my daughter how to box if I live that long. I got different fights, and they're going to be as equally as hard, and they might not involve me using my fist. Maybe they do, but maybe don't. See, being a philosopher has its own challenges. You know why? Because getting your name out there, speaking the truth, trying to stave off getting, I guess, getting too much hate, getting too much recognition, getting the wrong sort of publicity, finding people that actually engage with your stuff, and being consistent while also just trying to enjoy life. Like, the whole point of being a philosopher, I thought, was to find what the good life was, to find some sort of way to live that makes you happy or at least content. And you have to keep finding it. And people could give you $1 million, and that might still not make me happy. It might make this version of me happy, but am I the same person? And that's just I say that's just as difficult as being in the boxing ring, being a business major, being a attorney, being a janitor, being whatever. How do you choose to live your life? What do you think is a good quality life? What do you think is acceptable? Like, with me, I'm happy, but that doesn't mean that I want to stop doing things. I work a little bit slower than most, but that's because I'm trying to find. I'm a perfectionist. I got that OCD, just in a different aspect. I want to make sure that I want to build my own house, not because I'm not satisfied with a big house. If someone offered that to me, I'll be like, that's great. I still want to build my own house. Why? I gave you a perfectly good house. Well, because my fears hit me. I want to make sure that the material is good. I want to make sure that I'm educating myself. I know I'm going through the rundown of this entire house. I know what to look for. I can do the inspection with the inspector. I'll be like, yep, that's going to stay a long time. That's not moldy. I was there when that was built. That's exactly the model. I can help fix it. If that's the issue, I'll put the instructions on how to fix it in the way that I write. That I can change out parts, that I can be self-sufficient. And when I can no longer be self-sufficient, at least in my physical body, I can do that in my words. And if I can't do it in my words, I can go. I can go. That's life. That's life. And I'm fine with that life being lived that way. I'm cool with that being my end. Now, I don't choose my end. Maybe I never get to that part, never get that far. Maybe that was not a challenge I was supposed to ever take. I was never meant to take on Ali. In my imagination, in my dreams, sometimes I think about it, but maybe that's a fight for the heavens. Maybe a fight that that would make going to heaven even a good place to strive for, to dream for, to have those things that don't exist in this reality, things that I can't fully imagine, I can't fully see. Like, I can think, if I said a T-Rex that's, I don't know, doing judo and doing backflips, what it would look like, because I don't even know what a T-Rex actually looks like. I know what its bones look like. I don't know what it actually looks like. Knowing what a accurate T-Rex looks like. Being sure that's what it looks like. Being sure, or just speaking with somebody. Being absolutely sure. Positive. And being able to meet them face to face. Yeah. With that being said, I'm done.